That buzz is coming from Yves Cadwallader. No, not from him specifically, but from his bees. And how Yves got his bees is an interesting story.
The war came along and I was deferred to the farm because we had a grade A dairy here. The grade A dairy had a lot of high labor demands, and so I was deferred because of that, which ended my attendance at William Penn. Gas was rationed, tires were rationed, sugar was rationed. So I thought, is there a way that we could raise our own sweetener? So I thought, honey.
At 87 years young, Yves has been making, or rather his bees have been making honey on the Cadwallader farm since 1944.
Had no experience at all. I don't remember what I read. I don't remember the beekeeping journals that I may have gone through, but the experience was very good. I loved it. I loved bees. I wasn't used to stings then, and I didn't enjoy the sting part, but it was a successful operation and started out slow, of course, with probably only one hive. I don't remember now, but gradually expanded, and it was an interesting time. And I've been with it ever since, so I've had quite a little of experience with bees by now.
The experience gained from years of beekeeping has spread to others in the area. Yves is more than willing to share his knowledge through a club called Back to Basics Beekeeping. The club started with a few interested friends in 1998 and has evolved into a group of beekeepers covering a 25-mile radius today.
So we sat around the dining room table and we talked beekeeping, and within a year or two we were filling the living room, and then had to find another place because people were really interested in bees, interested in beekeeping, and the club is still going.
Yves shared with me a moment that is likely on your mind. Was there any experiences that you had when you were just like, what am I doing now? I've got myself in over my head.
I remember one day I went out there and here was a mass of bees, almost that big. Just a big, what's now a swarm, but I didn't know what it was at that time. And I thought, what am I going to do? And in the process, I got stung, I think on my lip, and so my lip swelled clear up, and it was my first experience with a swarm and being stung. But it was a good experience, a good learning experience, and everything like that is educational.
Education is another reason that Yves became involved with beekeeping. After graduating from his 8th grade one-room country schoolhouse and graduating from Oskaloosa High School, Yves attended William Penn University, where he earned credit by learning how to become a beekeeper.
I wrote to my major professor, science professor at Penn, and asked her about a special project that I could do on my own and check in with her. And she said, write it up. And I wrote it up. She accepted it. And that's how I learned beekeeping, was a special project in connection with William Penn during the war years. And so we raised our own substitute for sugar.
In 1945, Yves would find something especially sweet, his wife Iola, who supports him in his hobby. How did you guys meet?
Oh my, that was an act of God.
I had an opportunity to have a free ride, a free trip to Oregon to see one sister, or I would have to save my pennies and buy a train ticket and come to Oskaloosa.
She graduated from Friends University in Wichita, Kansas, the same year that I graduated from William Penn.
So I chose to come to Oskaloosa, and that was when we met and how we met. The best choice I've made in my life.
Was it love at first sight?
Well, I'm sure it was, now that you asked the question. I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah.
I'm afraid it was. In my case, I didn't know about him, but it certainly was.
We had a lot in common, we discovered, and we liked what the potential would be, and she was willing to leave Kansas and move to Iowa.
While Iola has little involvement with beekeeping, Eves does have some help. Glenda Benger learned what she knows about beekeeping through working with Eves.
And he was a wonderful teacher. It was a perfect learning situation because it was hands-on, and Eves was there to explain, and he would also question me. I mean, he didn't just talk at me. He would ask what I was seeing inside the hive. What did I think? And then we would talk about, what to do next. We talked about what the bees were doing, and that's how we got started.
Glenda has become a valuable partner as Eves is experiencing the onset of macular degeneration, a medical condition that affects vision.
Glenda is a real important part of the operation because I have macular degeneration that's moving in, and I can't see what I need to see. Glenda is good at finding the queen. A beekeeper needs to know what the queen is doing because it's the queen controls the operation of the hive. And so you have to know what the queen is able to do. If she's not laying 2,000 eggs a day, she's not doing her job. And so you need to see the eggs in the bottom of the cells to know what her brood pattern is and how she's doing.
Eggs that are laid by the queen into brood, or nest one could say, are very small, hard for the normal eyes to see. Using unrelated black and white photographs, here's a first-person point of view of what it looks like to have macular degeneration.
The good news is that my last checkup, I had the courage to ask my doctor what the future held, because I was getting ready to learn Braille or get a seeing eye dog, or I didn't know what it might mean. And he said, no, with macular degeneration there comes a leveling plateau time when you still can see and can still function the way you are now. So